Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Shazwani binti Zainal. I'm the leader of Group 9. Would like to present about our project which is Indo Compost Bin. Now, let's start with the introduction. An Indo Compost Bin is a container in which organic waste is placed to decompose over time. This compost bin is used educate aeration and moisture retention to expedite the decomposition of organic materials. However, with the proper combination of air and moisture, ideal conditions are produced. It means for the activity of aerobic organisms which are responsible for the high temperature that turn organic matter into compost. Here is the problem statement. Start with the first, which is to eliminate the kitchen waste to become a natural organic fertilizer in a few days, but it may cause odor. Second is the upper part of the cover was not tight. And lastly, the size of the compost bin when placed in the kitchen. Next, there are three objectives. Start with the first objective, which is to distribute a set of questionnaire to obtain the customer requirements to the product. Second objective is to study the existing product and identify the problem faced by the customers. And the third objective is to design and fabricate an Indo Compost bin that can use the product functionally according to the customer needs. Here is the scope of project. First scope is conducting a survey with at least 40 respondents. Second is produce an Indo Compost bin which can collect the kitchen waste and food waste. Third is creating a cover which can improve the odor from the bin, and lastly is innovating the upper part of the product which can be user-friendly to the customers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For my part, I will be doing the literature. Okay, for composting. Composting is a naturally occurring process and is conducted by solid microorganisms and larger soil fauna that turns dead plant material and organic waste and turns it into an earth-like substance called humus. The benefits of compost were discovered when the human waste was still in the early stages of hunting and gathering, most likely in the form of animal manure. When it was realized that the plants would grow more vigorously in the patches where there was more manure deposited, the process was applied more and more. Next, the earliest records that state the evidence that before the introduction of modern sewage systems, the major fertilizers were animal manure and compost of garden and kitchen waste. Composting existed 10,000 years ago through the Akkadian Empire, which was located in modern-day Iraq. When the citizens noticed that their plants grew better in an area where there was manure, they started putting manure in their soil. The history of composting also states that early farmers in Scotland during the Stone Age used to put manure and vegetable compost in their soil. Next, moving to ancient Asia, there is evidence that the tools found in Neolithic sites in northern China contain similar features as those used by the Scottish farmers. The Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians used composting too. For composting, the major concerns are air, moisture, nitrogen, bacteria, heat, organic matter, and sufficient size. Air is essential for the aerobic bacteria to proliferate, heat, and digest the compost pile. The amount of air is important. If there is too much airflow, the microorganisms can heat the pile too much and destroy the pathogens and weed seeds. To be sure a pile has enough air, it must be turned every week or so. Placing poles in the piles and moving a few a day during the heat build-up process, or even poking the pile with a pitchfork. The commercial way to achieve this aeration is using a compost tumbler with screen vents. This process, if done 4 to 5 times a day and once daily, can get you a finished product as in little as 14 days. Air can also be allowed to flow through the pile depending on the size of the particles in the compost. Smaller is better because it is easier to break down, but too small of particles can prevent airflow. You can also place chicken wire at the bottom of the compost heap to help aerate the bottom of the pile. Good compost requires the correct amount of moisture. It should feel like the forest floor, a damp sponge if you will. It is a delicate balance between too much and too little moisture, and is best to check the moisture content of the compost when turning the pile. Too little moisture slows down the decomposition and prevents the pile from heating up. Since the microorganisms need a steamy environment to do their job, it is harder for them to work in this environment. Too much moisture dries out the air and can wash away nutrients. Lack of nitrogen is one of the main reasons compost piles fail to heat up. There is scientific data on carbon to nitrogen ratios. It is just really important to know that manure should comprise about a quarter to a fifth of the pile, while the rest should be plant waste. Chicken droppings are high in nitrogen content, along with horse manure, food scraps, blood meal, guano, and cottonseed meals. Lastly, bacteria exist in the raw materials of compost. Since bacteria is responsible for most of the heat generation and decomposition of the compost, it is a very component of the compost.
To my lecturer, my name is Abhilashini Anaparumpan Parthiban. My metric number is B0520100087. I'm going to present the part of methodology from our report. Firstly, we use 3 types of methods to represent our product and data analysis. First method we used is project drawing. Secondly, we used DFMA, which is design for manufacturing and assembly. The third method we used is DFA, which is design for environment. And the last method we use is cost estimation. Project drawing. Project drawing, it is a 2D representation of a 3D objects for the purpose of communication of a designer's visualization. Engineering drawing, on the other hand, is a technical drawing that has all the information for manufacturing, a part of welding and building and assembly. The info includes dimensions, part names and numbers, and etc. We can immediately start making a product from the engineering drawing. Second method, which is DMFA, which is design for manufacturing and assembly. DFA is used in the design of products that will help lower production cost to a minimum, focused on reducing the number of parts, handling, and ease of assembly. DFM is the method of design for ease of manufacturing of the collection of parts that will form the product after assembly. DFM is used to select the most cost-effective material and process to be used in the production in the early stages of product design. This DFMA is a combination of design for manufacture, which is DFM, and design of assembly, which is DFA. The third method is DFA, design for environment. Design for environment is a design approach to reduce the overall human health and environmental impact of a product, process, or service, where the impacts are considered across its life cycle. Different software tools can be used to assist designers in finding optimized products or process or services. The last method is cost estimation. Cost estimation is a process of forecasting the financial and other resources needed to complete a project within a set of defined parameters. Cost estimation accounts for each element required for the project, from materials to labor.
My name is Yao. Now I want to talk about our result for our indoor compost bin. Our target customer is for housewife, and most of us, our recommended is for the kitchen use for area houses. Around 53% of the respondents need an automatic plunger. Around 67% of the respondents need to reduce bad odor by using charcoal. And also 62% of the respondents need to have an airtight of container to reduce the bad odor. And also 75% of the respondents need to have a good flow for the indoor compost bin. For the cost estimation, we need a cover, container, plunger, wire net, strainer, drawer, and frame support, and last one is the water tap. Our cost estimation included cover, container, plunger, wire net, strainer, drawer, frame support, and water tap. All of the item is used for the indoor compost bin. The price estimated is around 105 ringgit.
Conceptual design is a process in the design process in which the actual details of products, purpose and shape are defined. Concept sketches and models are common artifacts of conceptual design. Process of design concept selection. The design team chooses one or few product concepts for continued development throughout the product concept selection phase. This concept is as much about describing our approach as it is about making the choice. We evaluate multiple new product ideas produced in a concept board format during concept screening, which is an important step in the client's innovation process. Mechanism of the product. A mechanism is a method, technique, or process for accomplishing a goal. A system of parts functioning together in a mechanism can alternatively be defined as an assemblage of moving elements performing a complete functional action. Product structure management makes it simple to capture and manage product structures as they were created. It enables the production and reuse of a limitless number of pieces and assemblies, allowing for a wide range of variants on a basic structure on the creation of any one-of-a-kind structure. Bill of material for new indoor compost bin. Compared to this new indoor compost bin, which consists of 31 total parts with its own dimensions, each part used to create the new indoor compost bin. The total parts are 5 times more than the original indoor compost bin, but overall the total cost as shown in Table 8. For the conclusion, based on our project to improve an indoor compost bin that can be widely used and apply good habits to cultivate environment awareness in our daily life, we state that improving the indoor compost bin can be widely used in our lifestyle to apply good habits to cultivate environment awareness. We also design or fabricate an indoor compost bin that can be used the product functionally according to the customer's needs.